I would highly suggest kombucha. And sip it slowly. Also, if you do drink anything with your meal, sip slowly and make sure that it's room temperature or warm tea. Never ice cold. If you have to drink ice water or anything icy, make sure it's done 1 hour after a meal and not less than 15 minutes before your meal. Did you know that your body stores toxins in body fat? That's why we get fat, and it's our body's defense system that says, okay, I'm going to protect your organs now and make you very fat. The more we put toxins into our body, the more fat cells are engorged with them. That's where they get stored to protect our heart, to protect our stomach, to protect our liver, our spleen, our pancreas, all of our organs. Probiotics. A lot of people don't understand how to use them, when to use them, why to use them. We need good bacteria in our gut. Most of America on the standard American diet are probably suffering from candida yeast overgrowth. And that's what happens to our bellies. Sugar is one of the main culprits. Alcohol is the other. Sugar and alcohol, our digestive system does not mix. If you have to drink alcohol, I would suggest wine because it is a fermented drink. And in extreme moderation. Now there are fermented drinks. There's a brand of kombucha that I got at Lucky's. I tell you what, I swear it had a little more alcohol than the Synergy because I felt a little tipsy when I drank it. But it was good. And it was like drinking a kind of like a semi-dry white wine when I drank it. And it was like, this is good. I feel like I can have a glass of wine now. And it's healthy. It's probiotics. So that was nice. It's in the brown bottle. I can't remember the name of it, but it's in the brown bottle that looks like a beer bottle at Lucky's. Anyway, probiotics. When consuming them as food, they're best taken with meals because probiotics are a living organism and they need something to feed on. And the best thing for them to feed on is those starches like beans and potatoes, stuff that has sugar, stuff that turns to sugar in your body. Well, those probiotics eat up that sugar. It's like when they make kombucha. You make it with tea and sugar, and it's called a symbiotic yeast. SCOBY, symbiotic colony of bacterial yeast. I think I said that right. The SCOBY is what makes the kombucha drink, and it ferments it. When you drink this, you don't want to drink it on an empty stomach. One, it's going to hurt your stomach. And it has nothing to feed on if your stomach is empty. When you eat it with your foods, not only does it help you digest, it even helps you digest your meats. I would suggest also, if you're a meat eater, to add a little vinegar or lemon juice to your meats. And you'd be amazed at how good that tastes. Really, it doesn't, when the meat absorbs it, it's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, it's just yummy. And it helps you digest better. So anyway, probiotics are living organisms. So if you're eating probiotics in food form, have it with your meal. If you're taking it in a capsule, I think they request you to take it at least 30 minutes prior to the meal. That gives it time to bust open, and by the time you start putting the food in, it's ready to combine, I think. Don't quote me on that because I didn't look that up. So how can we begin to change our lifestyle and get a healthier digestive system? Simplify. Step 1. Eat simple foods. Forget about all those combinations and focus on simplifying your menu. You know what? When I first started eating healthy, foods were tasting pretty bland to me, so I was trying to find all kinds of ways. But as my palate grew accustomed to eating these foods that weren't processed and full of all this other stuff and chemical junk, one day I plucked some green beans out of the garden. I steamed them, and I just put some salt on them. And I took a bite. I was like, that's really good. My vegetables took on a whole new flavor. They were sweeter. They had more water content. They felt good. They felt healing, and I felt connected. This is where the spirituality kicks in. I felt connected to the oneness that there is. I was connected to the divine source that provided those things for me. So we simplify. Herbs are great to season your vegetables with, but making a big combination, like a lot of people make stews and they put like 10 different things because you think when you put a whole bunch of things together and think that it's really highly nutritious, it's not, because then your body has to fight to try to separate all of these different things, the chemical makeup of each food, and it's taking forever to digest, and that's where the problem begins. So we simplify. We have no more than, say, 4 different types of food on our plate at one time. You can eat, I usually let 3 hours go between meals, sometimes depending, 2 hours after a fruit meal and 3 hours between my starchy meals and my protein meals. So you can eat like 5 times a day depending on your schedule. So you're going to get all of your food in. You're going to get all of your nutrients. So it doesn't all have to be piled in. Another thing too, when you start to make these changes, start watching your portions. Our stomach, does anyone know what the size of our stomach is? You got it. It's the size of our fist.
So small.
It's that small. And we're putting how much food into this little small pocket? The best thing that I found was to take 1.5 cups of whatever I'm making for that meal. And that was all I would eat. And I would stop. If I still felt hungry after 30 minutes, I would eat a little bit more. Start with 1.5 cups. Wait 30 minutes. If you don't feel full, eat a little bit more. If you feel full, move on. Wait till your next meal. Or when you're hungry. When you start eating healthy, you will actually feel those hunger pangs that they talk about, that growling. Sometimes when we're eating an improper diet, we think we're having these hunger pangs, but it's actually our digestive system still working to try to sort through everything, and it's not true hunger. So, and you'll know the difference. I don't know how to explain it to you, but you'll know the difference. Okay, so here's a quick example. 9 a.m. breakfast could be as simple as a banana, an apple, and some almonds. That's about 1 cup of food, depending on how big the apple and the banana is. So it could be 1.5 cups. For lunch, say around 11 a.m., could be 1/2 cup of non-starchy soup like broccoli cauliflower soup, which is simple, easy to make. You steam some broccoli, steam some cauliflower, put it in a food processor, cream it, add some fennel or some dill or whatever spices you want to it, maybe some onion, and you have a nice non-starchy soup that will go with anything, including meat. 1/2 cup of some chopped salad greens. Now, when I say 1/2 cup, a lot of people don't make their salad like I do, so you would probably have a whole plate full of salad to get what I'm getting. I actually make my salads in a food processor, so it's chopped really fine. It's almost juiced, and that gives you the best nutritional absorption rate, because now you don't have to chew so much. A lot of people don't absorb their nutrients because they don't chew. They gulp their food down without chewing. Mastication is the first process to digesting, because when you eat starches, ptyalin is excreted. It's an enzyme that digests in your mouth. That's where it begins for starches. And if you're not chewing up your starchy foods like your potatoes, your beans, your rice and stuff like that, they're not going to digest as well. Okay, so dinner could be a full cup of chopped salad or a big bowl of salad if you don't want to chop it up like that, and 3 to 5 ounces of lean meat of your choice. And then you could have a snack, say around 7 or 8 o'clock. It could be some carrot sticks with almonds or almond butter, 3 cups of popcorn and a carrot or 2, some celery and hummus. You get the idea? Stuff of that nature. Always when you're eating starches, you want to eat some kind of a raw vegetable to give you those enzymes to help you break down those starches that you're eating. Rule of thumb is to allow 2 to 3 hours between meals of fruits and starches. Allow 3 to 4 hours after dense proteins like meat before you change your food groups. So if you wanted celery and hummus, wait at least 3 to 4 hours after a chicken meal. Stop eating 2 hours before bed for best results. If you have to eat before you go to sleep, I would highly suggest maybe a handful of almonds or a banana, because that will give you that magnesium that helps you relax, and it'll give you that serotonin boost to help you sleep better. Everything begins with a thought. If you want to make changes in your dietary health, the first place you start is a thought in your head that says, I need to make some changes. The next step is making a decision to make a choice. Nothing is going to happen if you don't choose it. You have to make a choice to change your dietary habits if you want your body to change and become healthier. The next step is acting on that choice. The next step after that is committing to your decision to follow through. For those of you who know me, you're looking at commitment. A year and a half ago, 250 pounds. Today, 130 pounds. Any questions?
What about dairy?
Dairy? Dairy is one of the leading causes of asthma and congestion. When I let go of dairy, the asthma went away. I was more congested because it creates a mucus, and at night that mucus would pool in my lungs and my airway, and I would wake up choking because I couldn't breathe through the mucus. When I let go of the dairy, there are certain dairies that I found that I can do now, like mozzarella or raw aged cheddar. If you find real cheese, it's not yellow, it's white. And there's a raw Amish cheese at Raisin Rack. I ate that okay, and I was fine. Goat cheese is another one that if you're going to do dairy, I would suggest that you use those in place of the others. But otherwise, milk is for babies. We stopped giving milk after the baby's weaned. Animals stopped giving milk. Milk is not meant for adults. Sorry. Any other questions?
You talked about